Narcissistic mothers are overly critical and extremely self-centered, whereby love is delivered and taken away with many terms and conditions. They cannot care for their daughters in the same loving way that a healthy mother can. Here are 10 symptoms of daughters of narcissistic mothers. 1. Low self-esteem. If the daughter isn't acting the way that the narcissistic mother sees fit, she will shame and belittle her. Whenever the mother has a triggering of her own inadequacies, she will dump her unhealed wounds right onto her daughter, to carry around for her. Essentially, the unconscious program for the daughter is that she is unlovable, unworthy and defective. These are all of the narcissistic mother's deep inner wounds, which she disowned a very long time ago. So, when those flaws are presented to her, she simply cannot accept them into her reality, and projects them onto her daughter instead. Now, the narcissistic mother truly does believe that it's the daughter who is exhibiting those traits. The mother cannot stand having her wounds mirrored back to her, so she tries to shame them out of her. 2. Low boundaries. Daughters of narcissistic mothers are not allowed to have boundaries, because she sees her daughter as a chess piece that she can move around for her own personal gain. The daughter learns pretty early on that saying no, or setting a personal boundary, results in rage, belittling, shaming and guilt-tripping from her mother. She is unconsciously programmed that setting boundaries isn't safe and makes her selfish. So, the daughter goes into adult life with incredibly low boundary function, feeling like an awful person if she ever tries to set them along the way. This inevitably leads her into relationships, where she gets taken advantage of, because she doesn't feel safe to speak her needs. 3. Perfectionism. The narcissistic mother is regularly, yet inconsistently berating the daughter, for not doing the right thing, for not being good enough, or for not doing enough. As a result, the daughter ends up striving for perfectionism as a means of survival. The mother's love was completely conditional on how the daughter acted and presented herself. The subconscious programming leaves the daughter feeling as though she's defective, and must be perfect to be lovable. Perfectionism in adulthood can manifest as workaholism and constantly striving to overachieve in many areas of their lives. The grown daughters feel that to be seen and heard in life, they must be perfect. 4. Codependency. The crux of codependency is looking outside of yourself for safety, security, love and survival, instead of being able to meet those needs yourself. The daughter of a narcissistic mother is primed to always put her mother's needs first, even if it's to the detriment of herself. She learned that to have her basic needs met, she must please and carry the emotional burdens of her mother. In other words, her sources of safety, security, love and survival could only ever be met by someone outside of herself, if she made them happy first. 5. People-pleasing. Following on from codependency is the people-pleasing symptom of daughters of narcissistic mothers. The daughter has learned through negative reinforcement, that for her to be worthy of acceptance, she must put everybody else's needs before her own. This can play out in relationships, work environments and even friendships. 6. Suppressing emotions. Narcissistic mothers tend to treat the daughter's emotional needs with a big fat eye roll. As far as she's concerned, her daughter's emotions are an inconvenience and don't serve her in any way. On top of that, when a narcissist cries, they only do so to guilt those around them. So, sometimes when the daughter cries, or gets really upset, they tend to think it's just a manipulation tactic. Because after all, that's what they would do. The daughter of the narcissistic mother never learns how to healthily express emotions, and is taught that they're not even safe to have. As the daughter grows older, she's so used to suppressing her emotions out of safety and survival, that it becomes normal. 7. Feeling invisible. It's easy to see how daughters of narcissistic mothers grow up feeling completely invisible. After all, that was the feedback they spent their entire childhoods receiving. The narcissistic mother made it clear, time and time again, that her needs were the most important. She also reinforced that the daughter's role was to do as her mother expected, even to the detriment of her own mental health. This can sometimes manifest as egoism, which is the complete opposite of narcissism. Egoism is a trauma response, often from prolonged narcissistic abuse, where the person sees having their own needs as a bad thing. They believe that to have their own needs and wants would make them narcissistic, and that no one would love them if they did. 8. Anxiety and depression. The constant walking on eggshells, and not knowing what's coming at you from moment to moment, keeps the nervous system on edge, causing anxiety. Prolonged anxiety can often cause adrenal fatigue. The adrenals release cortisol into our bodies when we need a boost of energy, which is usually in the morning, plus during times of stress. Over time, as your body receives more hits of cortisol each day than what is normal, the adrenal system can become fatigued. This will result in extreme exhaustion. Another very common symptom for daughters of narcissistic mothers is depression. Lacking the autonomy to be an individual being with your own needs, wants, goals, dreams and desires, can have a detrimental toll on mental health. 9. Difficulty trusting. From a childhood of having love and security given and taken away at random intervals, daughters of narcissistic mothers tend to have difficulty trusting. After all, if their main caregiver couldn't be trusted, how can they trust anybody else? Even though the daughter doesn't fully understand that her mother is manipulating and gaslighting for her own agenda, she can still feel that things are shaky and not right. Unconsciously, the daughter learns that it's not safe to trust others, because they will twist things around for themselves. Lastly, 10. Fear of abandonment and rejection. The daughter experienced constant emotional abandonment and rejection from their mother, through belittling, devaluation and shaming. Those were the tactics the mother employed, to keep her daughter controlled and bending to her will. As the daughter grows up, she often ends up ignoring her own needs to people please. This is a defense mechanism, so that she doesn't end up being abandoned or rejected in her relationships and friendships. This is why many daughters of narcissistic mothers end up in toxic, and even narcissistic adult relationships. They've already been so well programmed to tolerate shitty behavior. Plus, paired with the desperate need to finally experience the love they never received as a child, they are extremely vulnerable to being used, abused and exploited. As an adult daughter of a narcissistic mother, it's now time to choose yourself, focus on healing and create a happy life for yourself. For more information, head to unmaskingthenarc.com.